All right, class A, you have your first unit half quiz tomorrow over Unit 1A. And I've been saying all along that you need to be studying your note cards inside and outside of class, forwards and backwards, and that you need to be studying your notes bit by bit as we talk about them each day. So hopefully you have been, so that this is not an evening of cramming for you, but rather an evening just to make sure that you are good to go and you know what you need to know, and brushing up on what you don't. So I'm just going to go through this topics list and talk about, again, the same things I've talked about in class as far as what you should know pertaining to each thing and a little bit of practice with them. So reflexive verbs. If you recall, I have said that if you go to your reflexive verbs notes, you have on your pink sheet some highlighted verbs, and I have said that you should know how to conjugate these verbs and what they mean. There's 5 of them here that are highlighted, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the best of your ability you should know what they mean and how they're conjugated. If you're not sure, we'll flip that yellow sheet over and it walks you right through the steps of how to do it. Alright, so back to our topics. Check done. Reasons to use "ser." As I've been saying in class, while it's very important to know what poem with 2 P's and a T stands for, you will not be quizzed over that tomorrow. It will be involved in the next unit quiz, Unit 1B, so you want to make sure you're learning these as quickly as possible. But what you really need to know for tomorrow is how to conjugate "ser" in the present tense. This should be in your brain notes, the notes that are accessible only in your brain. So you should know how to conjugate "ser" and you should know which subjects belong to which person. And if you don't, check your blue sheet for that. All right. Going back to our topics notes. Reasons use "ser," check, done. Adjectives and nouns. This is so Spanish 1. What should you know about Spanish nouns and adjectives? Well, they have gender. And we've talked about what they end in, tells you if they're masculine or feminine, and also the definite articles that belong to them. And then most importantly, we said that they have to agree in gender and number with the nouns that they are describing. So don't forget all that we talked about there. And if you're wondering, how can you practice any of these things? Well, as I've stated in class over and over again, a good way to check yourself is go to your example sentences in your notes and check and see if you can translate them to Spanish. Don't peek though, or it's not really helping you. We also have some sentences in your "ser" notes. Well, actually all of these sentences right here, the desks are made of plastic, the game is in the gym and is at 6, would be sentences you can practice, but here are the most helpful ones. If you are afraid that you're going to peek in your notes, you can press pause right now and try these on your own and then check them with what we have as the answers in your notes. If I go back to the topics, adjectives and nouns, there we go. Possessives. We've been really focused and spent a lot of time in class on possession, and we've talked about possessive adjectives and possessive pronouns. So what we have in our notes, and should now have transferred to our brain files, is that you can't apostrophe S in Spanish, that we use de plus the name, because this is mostly used with names. De quién asks whose is it. Our possessive adjectives are always followed by a noun, and this is what they mean. My noun, your noun, his or her noun, and so on and so forth. It's straight out of your notes, and these go directly before the noun. And don't forget, they have to match the noun, not the person who owns it. And then if I go to my example sentences, the green sentences all practice using possessive adjectives. So you can pause this screen and practice them right now. I'm going to move on to talk about the possessive pronouns. Don't forget that possessive pronouns replace nouns, and it's usually to avoid repetition, and they have 2 parts. We did discuss when you can leave out the definite article, but if you're ever in doubt, make sure you have L in front of mío, L in front of tuyo, L in front of suyo. Again, they have to match the noun, not the person they're describing, in number and gender. So if I'm saying they are mine, referring to books, I'm going to have to change L to los and mío to míos. If I'm saying our, referring to table, I would have to, since table is mesa, I would have to change el to la and nuestro to nuestra. So these are your possessive pronouns. If you want practice, again, the ones that I have in purple are your sentences that help you practice possessive pronouns. So you can press pause and practice these sentences. Some more practice. Follow along with me. Is here. Okay, here's an example of an exercise that is very similar to an exercise that you will have to do on the unit quiz. It says use the correct possessive adjective or pronoun, and what we're doing is we're rephrasing the sentence right before. Here it says no es el abuelo de Marcos. De Marcos would mean it's not Marcos's grandpa. So if I need a possessive adjective or pronoun here, I'm going to say it's not his. Look, here's grandpa. Here's a noun. That means that on this blank, I need the possessive adjective. So it's not his grandpa. Well, I'm not saying my grandpa. I'm not saying your grandpa. I'm saying his grandpa. So my answer is su. And then this sentence says, es el abuelo de nosotros. As you know, you wouldn't commonly say el abuelo de nosotros. And so we can rephrase this. It is the grandpa of ours. Well, we're rephrasing it and we're saying it is our, grandpa's not here anymore. This is not followed by a noun, so this has to be the possessive pronoun. So I can't say it's our grandpa because grandpa's not here, so I must be saying he is ours. How will I say ours to match grandpa? El nuestro. For those of you that have been paying attention in class, you know that in this sentence I could get rid of el because it's after a conjugated form of ser. That's the only time you can get rid of the el, la, los, or las in front of the possessive pronouns. If you don't want to consider that, then always use the possessive pronoun. All right, what I suggest you do now is pause this screen and practice sentences 2 through 4 on your own, doing it exactly the same way that I did. First, ask yourself, do I need an adjective or a pronoun? And then ask yourself, how would you rephrase the information after day? So press pause now, and then I'm just going to show you what the answers are and you can check and see if you were right. Press pause, don't cheat. Okay, so now I'm going to go through the answers. Here we have an adjective because it's in front of the noun primas. Here it's followed by a period, so it's going to have to be the pronoun. Again, adjective in front of gafas, pronoun on its own. Adjective in front of libro, and pronoun on its own. No son las primas de mí means they're not my cousins. So they're not my cousins. How will I say my in front of cousins? Well, it has to match. So it's mis. They are the cousins of you. That doesn't make sense. So we'd want to say they are your cousins, but cousins isn't here, so I must have to say they are yours. Yours to match primas would be feminine. You're not wearing the glasses of you. So you're not wearing your glasses. Your, to go in front of glasses, would be tus. You are wearing the glasses of me. So you are wearing my glasses, or you are wearing, since glasses isn't here, mine. Has to match glasses, which is gafas, so it is las mías. Am I allowed to leave out the las here? No, I am not, because the only time I'm allowed to have my possessive pronoun not have 2 parts is after a conjugated form of ser. So when in doubt, always use the el, la, los, or las in front of your pronoun. Number 4 says, I have the book of us. So I have our book. Our in front of book is nuestro because it has to match libro. I don't have the book of you guys. So I don't have your guys' book, but book isn't over here, so I don't have your guys' or y'all's. Y'all's to match one single book is el suyo. Do I have to have the el? Well, yes, I 100% do, because it's not after a conjugated form of ser. So that's a little more possessive pronoun practice for you. And let's go back to our topics. Check done. We've spent a couple different class periods and then some review now to do that. And now let's talk about your vocab. Vocab note cards, vocab note cards, vocab note cards. Forwards and backwards, backwards and forwards. The more you know of your vocab, the better off you will be. And anything else I want to talk to you about? Oh yeah, there are a few things I want to refresh your memory on or discuss. If you looked on your book cover, you would see that como placer is on there. That asks what is someone or something like, or what are some people or are some things like. Como placer asks what is someone or something like. So in the question, ¿Cómo es tu familia?, it's asking, what is your family like? And this is something that sometimes people have a little bit of trouble with, but I say, what is your family like? I really want to know, what is it like? So an appropriate answer would be, my family is small. It is small. People have a tendency to think that this has to be plural because there's multiple people in one family, but if you look at it, familia is singular, so small would have to match that. It's singular. What else? Oh, I find that some students don't know what it means when you have a name plus a comma. Well, Anna, you are doing a great job means that you're speaking directly to Anna. So, in the question, John and Anna, are you guys studious? John and Anna, I'm speaking directly to them, and my subject then is you guys. So, if I was speaking directly to John and Anna, and I'm saying, are you guys studious? Which box is the you guys box? Well, it's this one. So the correct form, sorry it's difficult to write with a mouse, is sown. And where do subjects go in questions? Well, they go usually at the end or at least after the conjugated verb. So subjects in Spanish questions are usually at the end or at least after the verb. So Anna, are you lazy? Would be Ana, eres perezosa tú? When you have a name, comma, that means you're speaking directly to the person. And some of you might be like, profe, duh, I totally get that. But obviously I'm only bringing it up because I've found over my years of teaching that this is something that students have a tendency to confuse or mix up. All right, so I hope you are preparing for your Unit 1A quiz and that you will do your best tomorrow. And if your Unit 1A quiz doesn't go so well, then I hope that you will evaluate with me how you studied and how much you studied, and hopefully we can improve upon those for Unit 1B.